The small town of Evergreen, hidden behind tree-lined green hills, is where Lily has lived all her life. The young girl, 22 years old, has shoulder-length dark brown hair and eyes as blue as the spring sky, always containing a vague sadness. Lily has been an animal lover since she was a child, perhaps because they are the only friends who always stay by her side during lonely days. Her parents, busy with business, were rarely at home and even less often spent time chatting with their daughter. Lily grew up quietly, but her love for small creatures helped her overcome her mental deprivation. Every day, Lily often spends time working at the used bookstore in town. The salary is not much, but she feels happy living among books and the smell of old paper. Outside of work, Lily likes to walk around town, exploring hidden corners that few people pay attention to. That's how she finds simple joy in life. One afternoon in March, as the sun began to disappear behind the ancient roofs, Lily decided to take a walk through the local market. Evergreen Market is home to a variety of goods: fresh vegetables, meat and fish, handicrafts, and even stalls selling pets. Lily doesn't visit this area often because she knows that not everyone treats animals kindly. But today, something prompted her to enter the market. The noise from shoppers, laughter, and the aroma of street food fills the air. Lily walked past each stall, her eyes glancing at the adorable kittens and chirping birds in cages. But just as she was about to leave, a dark corner next to the vegetable stall caught her attention. Lily came closer, and her heart sank. In a rusty and dirty cage, a small dog curled up in the corner. He was so skinny that every rib was clearly visible under the sparse, dirty fur. His eyes, dark brown, shone with wordless sadness and despair. The body is covered with small wounds, perhaps due to being abused or neglected for a long time. "Poor thing," Lily muttered, feeling her heart being squeezed. The dog looked up at her, his eyes pleading, as if silently saying, "Please, save me." "This girl?" A man behind the counter smirked when he saw Lily staring intently at the cage. He was a middle-aged man with a frowning face and muddy hands. "It's not worth it. Just a useless dog. I plan to throw it away if no one buys it." Lily looked at him, then back at the dog. In that moment, she knew she couldn't leave him here, even if it meant sacrificing all of her meager savings. "How much?" Lily asked, her voice shaky but determined. The man smirked again, clearly not thinking she would be serious. $50. But I'll be honest, it's not worth a penny." Lily did not answer. She opened her bag and took out all the money she had. That was the money she had saved for months to buy a birthday gift for herself. But that was no longer important. "I'll take it," she said, handing the money to the man. The people around began to whisper. Some even laughed. "What a stupid girl buying a sick dog," someone exclaimed. But Lily doesn't care. In her eyes, that dog is not only a pitiful creature, but also a part of herself, a forgotten soul, in need of love and healing. The man received the money, opened the cage, and placed the dog in Lily's arms. He trembled, scared, but when she gently stroked him, he began to relax, as if knowing he had found a safe place. Lily hugged the dog tighter, whispering, "From now on, you'll be fine. I promise." Lily carefully placed the dog in the shopping basket she always carries. Along the way home, the dog was still trembling, his eyes full of caution. Lily understands that the journey to making him feel safe will not be easy. But she is determined. Lily's small house is located at the end of a quiet street. It is a simple but warm house, with cream-colored walls and a small garden full of flowers. When she got home, Lily gently lifted the dog out of the basket and placed him on an old cushion she had just prepared in the corner of the living room. "I'll call you Shadow," Lily whispered, looking at the cowering dog. This name comes from the way Shadow always watches her from afar, but does not dare to come close. "Because you are like a shadow, always quiet. But I will help you find the light again." Shadow didn't react, just lying there with tired eyes. Lily began to take a bowl of clean water and some food and gently placed it in front of him. But Shadow didn't touch it at all. He just stared at her, as if trying to guess whether she would harm him or not. That night, Lily did not sleep. She sat a few steps away from Shadow, letting him get used to her presence. Occasionally, she whispered gentle words. "You're safe. No one will hurt you anymore." The next morning, Lily begins her plan to take care of Shadow. She took him to the nearest veterinarian for a health check. The doctor, after examining him, said Shadow was severely malnourished and needed careful care. Lily buys medicine and some special food to help Shadow recover. The first days passed slowly. Shadow still avoided all contact, only eating when Lily left the room. But Lily didn't give up. Every day she spends time sitting near him, reading or working, so that Shadow gets used to her presence. She also gently healed the wounds on his body, little by little. In the second week, Lily's patience began to pay off. One morning, when she put down her bowl of food, Shadow moved a little closer to eat, still keeping a safe distance. Lily smiled, feeling warm inside. She decided to try playing with Shadow. She used a small ball to gently roll it back and forth in front of him. At first, Shadow didn't notice, but after a few times, he started to look. Lily didn't push, just waited patiently. One evening, while Lily was reading a book, she felt something gently touch her leg. She looked up and saw Shadow standing closer than ever. His eyes were no longer afraid, but instead filled with curiosity. Lily gently held out her hand, and for once, Shadow didn't step back. He stood still, letting her gently caress him. "You did well, Shadow," Lily whispered, tears rolling down her cheeks. That was the first moment Shadow wagged his tail, a small but meaningful sign that he began to trust her. Lily knew that their journey had only just begun, but that moment was a glimmer of hope, a testament to the power of love and patience. Shadow becomes increasingly close to Lily. He gradually shows his attachment through special behaviors. Every morning, Shadow always lies next to Lily's bed, waiting for her to wake up. When she is sad or stressed, Shadow can feel it. He will gently place his head on her thigh, looking at her with sympathetic eyes, as if to say that everything will be okay. Lily begins to realize that Shadow is not just a dog, but also someone who protects and comforts her. One time, when Lily took Shadow for a walk, they met a strange man. Shadow immediately became alert, stood in front of Lily, and growled. The man, realizing Shadow's determination, quickly left. Lily couldn't help but feel reassured having Shadow by her side. One day, Lily decided to go on a picnic in the forest near town. She wanted to enjoy the fresh air and spend time with Shadow. They brought some food and water with them, planning to return before dark. But while going deep into the forest, Lily accidentally lost her way. The trails seemed to disappear, and darkness began to envelop. Lily felt worried. She tried to use her phone to locate it, but there was no signal. Strange noises in the forest made her even more uneasy. Shadow, sensing Lily's fear, stood close to her, his sharp eyes as if listening to every sound around him. As Lily was trying to find her way out, a loud noise rang out. A strange man appeared from behind, his eyes full of menace. "Girl, "Where are you going?" he asked, his voice cold. Lily stepped back, feeling her heart pounding. Shadow immediately jumped forward, growling fiercely, his fur standing on end. The man smiled faintly, but when Shadow rushed towards him, he panicked and backed away. Shadow did not hesitate to attack, protecting Lily with all his strength. The last man ran away, leaving Lily and Shadow standing in the middle of the quiet forest. Lily sat down, tears welling up in her eyes. Shadow came closer and gently licked her hand as if to comfort her. "You saved me, Shadow," she whispered, hugging the dog in her arms. "I don't know what to do without you." From that day on, the feelings between Lily and Shadow became deeper. Lily realized that Shadow was not just a dog she saved, but also a hero, the most loyal companion in her life. One quiet morning, as Lily was brushing Shadow's fur, she noticed a long scar on the back of his neck. Scars are not like ordinary wounds. It is straight and deep, evoking the image of an accident or some serious event in the past. A feeling of curiosity mixed with worry began to invade her mind. Lily decides to learn more about Shadow's past. She went to the vet, who had examined Shadow the first time, and asked about the scar. The doctor frowned and shook his head. "I can't be sure, but this scar could be related to a surgery or serious accident. It's possible it was once a service dog." The doctor gave a suggestion. "If you want to know more, you can check to see if it has an identification chip." Lily agreed. Upon examination, she discovered that Shadow actually had a small chip under his skin. The doctor helped her scan the chip, and a series of numbers appeared. With the doctor's help, Lily contacted an organization related to service dogs. After a few days, she received a response. Shadow used to be a police dog working on a search and rescue team. During a mission in an earthquake-stricken area, Shadow saved many trapped people, but also suffered serious injuries and severe psychological trauma. When he was no longer able to continue his mission, he was left behind, and no one adopted him. Lily read the story with tears flowing down her eyes. She felt pain and anger when thinking about the injustice Shadow had experienced, but most of all, she feels grateful to have found him and to have the opportunity to give him a new life. She decides to do everything to help Shadow overcome his past. In the following days, Lily spent more time taking care of and talking to Shadow. She told him about happy memories, creating new moments full of laughter. Shadow seemed to feel Lily's love and determination. He began to trust her more, even proactively bringing her toys as a way to show his gratitude. One day, while Lily was sitting outside in the garden, Shadow suddenly jumped on the chair and put his head on her shoulder. This action has never happened before. Lily turned and caressed him, feeling a deep connection. "You don't have to be afraid anymore, Shadow. I'll always be here, by your side," she whispered. From that day on, Shadow became happier and more confident. He stopped avoiding strangers and started playing with other dogs in the park. Lily felt happy to see Shadow gradually regaining joy in life. Shadow's past is no longer a pain, but part of a story of resilience and loyalty. Lily knows that this journey will not only help Shadow heal, but also help her learn to love and believe more in the miracles in life. Lily and Shadow's lives after the events have changed in ways she never imagined. Inspired by her healing journey and her bond with Shadow, Lily decides to realize a big dream: establishing a rescue center for abandoned and abused dogs. She calls it Light of Hope, a name that echoes Shadow's own journey, from darkness to light. At first, things were not easy. Lily must borrow money, work overtime at the bookstore, and convinced the local community to support her idea. But with determination and enthusiasm, she gradually received help. Some people donated supplies, others donated money, and there were even volunteers who came to help build the center. Shadow, as an unofficial ambassador, always follows Lily closely, motivating her whenever she feels discouraged. The center was built on a small piece of land on the edge of Evergreen Town. This place has spacious areas for dogs to run around, health care rooms, and a small corner to organize social sessions and introduce dogs to families who want to adopt. Shadow is the star of the center. He is not only a living testament to the power of love and patience, but also becomes a guide for new dogs. Shadow always gently welcomes other dogs, helping them adapt to new environments. Lily and Shadow's story quickly spread throughout the community. Families who have adopted dogs from the center often return, bringing with them happy stories about their new lives. Lily felt her heart warm when she saw the once abandoned dogs now have a home and someone to love them. The volunteers grew in number, and the center became a lively place, filled with laughter and cheerful barking. One day, Lily organized an event at the center. It's a meeting for families who adopt dogs and those interested in supporting animal rescue. Shadow, with a blue scarf tied around his neck, stood in the center, wagging his tail and running around to greet everyone. Lily stood from afar, looking at that scene, and couldn't help but feel emotional. She remembered the first day she met Shadow in the dirty market, his sad eyes at that time. Now, Shadow is not only the dog she saved, but also an inspiration, a companion who helped her realize her true purpose in life. When the event ended, Lily took Shadow for a walk around the center. They stopped at the playground area, where dogs were playing together. Shadow quickly joined in, running and playing as if he had never experienced those painful days. Lily sat down on a nearby bench, looked at Shadow, and felt an indescribable happiness. "I know I was right to save you that day, Shadow," she whispered. "You changed my life, not only with your loyalty, but with everything you taught me about love and sacrifice." Shadow, as if understanding Lily's words, stopped and ran towards her. He jumped on the bench, put his head on her lap, and looked at her with eyes full of trust and love. Lily caressed him, tears of happiness rolling down her cheeks. Under the bright afternoon sky, amid the sounds of laughter and cheerful barking all around, Lily realized that her life had changed forever. The act of saving Shadow that day not only changed the dog's life, but also helped her find true purpose and meaning in life. The Light of Hope Center is not only a place to rescue dogs, but also a place to start stories full of hope and love, like her and Shadow's story.